Welcome to Cook the Garden Podcast, your weekly audio source for delicious and easy garden fresh recipes and growing tips. I'm your host, Ginain Grays. Let's cook the garden. Hello. Welcome back. This is Cook the Garden Season 2, Episode 12. So this is the last episode of the season, guys. Can you believe it? I've had such an amazing time. Just everything from the recipes that we talked about to the amazing and dynamic guests that have joined me for just such rich and amazing conversation. I can't believe it's all coming to an end, but don't worry, I will definitely be back. I'm working on some really neat and unique topics that we can talk about. We are going to be taking a break. I just really look forward, honestly, to just taking some time to relax, spend some quality time with my family. And around this time of year in Florida, we actually take the hottest months and kind of take a break, we really look forward to like our fall and winter gardens here. So this is a time for us to kind of relax a little bit, take a step back. It's so super hot right now. So I try to limit my time in the garden and doing a lot of laborious work just because it's so hot. So I've got my eyes set on my fall garden, and I'm working on producing a lot more episodes. So I'll be coming back to you guys in August, and I'm really, really excited about it. So definitely make sure that we are connected though, because I'll still be active on social media. So make sure we're following each other. I'm on Instagram as Cook the Garden, or you can actually join our Facebook group, which is called Cook the Garden Cooking and Gardening Tips. So make sure you check me out. I'll put all of the links in the show notes so we can keep in touch throughout the summer. So this is a really great segue into what I want to talk about today. I want to share an experience with heat exhaustion, which serves as a powerful warning for all of us to be super careful when working in the garden. So this happened just a few weeks ago when I was working on a really hot, sunny day, and I was tending to my garden, doing some chores in the yard, and just taking care of some gardening needs and whatnot. So, as an avid gardener, I love to work out in my yard. I often, admittedly, I often lose track of time and I get carried away. So on this particular day, I was so just engrossed with, everything I was doing. I wasn't really paying much attention to the signs that now I know my body was actually giving me. I wasn't taking regular breaks. I wasn't drinking enough fluids, and I didn't seek shelter enough. So before I knew it, the scorching hot sun just took a toll on me. I started feeling really lightheaded, really, really tired and fatigued, and realizing that, okay, this isn't good. I immediately went inside of my house. And of course, I downed a bunch of cold water. I jumped right into my shower, took a shower thinking that would cool me off. And I thought surely that, after the shower, after drinking a bunch of water, that I would just magically feel better. And fortunately, that didn't happen right away. I started experiencing chills. I had just a throbbing headache. And, it was clear that I was suffering from some heat exhaustion. And of course, I probably should have sought some medical assistance, but instead I just stayed in bed. I stayed in bed for hours into the next day. I took Tylenol. I rehydrated myself, and I just got a lot of rest. And thankfully that helped. But, it was a really, really scary wake up call. And, it made me realize how important it is to take the necessary precautions when working in the garden, especially on these hot summer days. So, as I kind of reflect back and I look at all the warning signs, I look at what happened, and honestly, I thank God every day that it could have been a lot worse, but it made me really think about how I want to make sure I help you all, my friends and family, our Cook the Garden community. I want to make sure that we're really cognizant of this when we're out working in our yards and in our gardens and tending to our gardens. And I just want to take a little bit of time to really talk about some of the essential tips and things we need to do to avoid heat exhaustion while working in our gardens. So first things first is staying hydrated. Drink plenty of water. My problem or my issue was that I wasn't drinking a lot of fluids. In fact, I was drinking iced tea, which is probably the worst thing that I could have been drinking on a hot summer day while working out in a yard. So making sure that you drink plenty of water before, during, and after your gardening session. Dehydration is no joke and you don't want to play with it. So definitely that's my top tip. And then number 2 is take regular breaks. So you want to pace yourself, take frequent breaks, find a shaded spot in your yard or, maybe cool down inside for a little bit, but you don't want to push yourself too hard. So definitely that's on top of my list there. Number 3, you want to dress appropriately. Wear lightweight and breathable clothing that provides protection from the sun, but also allows for adequate air circulation and to help keep your body cool. The next tip is time your gardening tasks. So plan your gardening activities during cooler parts of the day, maybe early in the mornings or early afternoons, just to avoid those peak heat hours. I know from my experience, it was like in the middle of the day, like between 1 and 3 p.m., which is the hottest time of the day. So definitely that's a really good tip. And then my next tip would be wear protective gear. So you want to use wide brimmed hats, sunglasses. Your sunscreen is absolutely a must. Do not forget the sunscreen. That's huge. And, that will also help, with the sun's harmful rays. Don't underestimate the sun, even if you're, outdoors for a short amount of time. Don't underestimate the power of the rays of the sun. It's really, really powerful. So sunscreen is an absolute must. And then last but not least, listen to your body. All right. Don't be like me. I had all the signs, but just pay close attention to the signs that your body's sending you. If you start to feel lightheaded, fatigued, if you notice symptoms like, dizziness or lightheadedness or whatever, please take immediate action. Seek some shade and immediately also get some help. Try not to be out there on your own or have a way of getting in touch with a loved one, a friend, neighbor. But it's just really, really serious. And the last thing I want for anyone is to experience heat exhaustion or even worse. Remember, heat exhaustion can lead to more severe conditions like a heat stroke, which can absolutely be life-threatening. It's essential to take heat-related illnesses seriously and prioritize your well-being while working in the garden. So I hope you found those tips helpful. I know for me, my safety and well-being has to be a priority. And if I'm not healthy, if I'm not feeling well, I also can't enjoy my garden. So it was really important for me to share that with you all. And of course, I can't let you go without sharing a quick garden fresh recipe. So before we end today's episode, let's treat ourselves to a refreshing and delicious cool treat to beat the summer heat. So this sweet and creamy treat is a delightful way to indulge in the flavors of summer while staying cool. Let's make my pineapple mango nice cream. So what you'll need is 1 can of crushed pineapples, or you can absolutely use a fresh pineapple. You'll just need to crush it. It's a little bit more work, but you can use a blender or a food processor to crush it. I also use 1 fresh mango peeled and cubed, 3 cups of yogurt. Any kind of yogurt will do. I specifically use Greek yogurt. And for optional, you can, for a sweetener, you can use either honey, sugar, or agave. So what you'll do is you'll pour the crushed pineapple, your mango, and yogurt into a blender. You're going to blend it on medium setting for about a minute or so until the mixture is nice and smooth. If you prefer it sweeter, you can go ahead and add your sugar or your honey or whatever sweetener that you like. And then you're going to blend that for another about 30 seconds or so. Pour the mixture into a freezer-safe dish. I like to use a loaf pan. You can use whatever you want, and immediately place it into the freezer for about an hour or until it's nice and set and frozen. So once it's frozen, scoop the pineapple mango nice cream into a bowl and enjoy those flavors. And it will definitely help you to stay cool and refreshing during these hot summer months. Remember, you can check out the show notes where I have the full recipe to this and all of my information and ways we can continue to stay in touch. If you've missed any of the previous episodes, definitely go back and take a listen. And also, I wanted to send a big shout out to my guests this last season, Chef Leisha, Amy Katz, and Nicole Wilson. They were just absolutely phenomenal, weren't they? So you all have shared some really great feedback. You're loving the interviews with my guests, and so I plan on bringing on even more guests next season, so definitely stay tuned for that. And as I mentioned earlier, let's continue these conversations on Instagram, Facebook, or definitely shoot me an email at info@cookprayslay.com. I'd love to continue our conversations throughout the summer. Let me know how you're doing. What are you growing? If you have any questions or pain points, I'm here to help and assist you in any way possible. So let's continue those conversations. Thank you all so much again, and I can't wait to check back in with you in August. Have a blessed week, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's Cook the Garden. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a 5-star review. As a new podcast, it really helps to add value while growing our awesome community. As always, I really appreciate it. Until next time, friends, keep slaying those garden fresh recipes.